Good morning, everyone. I hope you all hear me well. Today we are at chapter 7 of the laws of Talmud Torah. We have a siyum today, siyum there, a completion of the laws of Talmud Torah. So today, chapter 7, Hacham zaken bechokma v'chen nasiu bedin shesarach. What happens if an old and wise sage, or the leader, or the head of the bedin left the proper path? En menadin oto befaresia leolam. He is never publicly ostracized, ela im ken asa ki Yerovam ben Navat, unless he behaved like Yerovam ben Navat, right? Who behaved in a terrible, terrible way. V'chaverav and his colleagues. But if his transgressions were of a different nature, then he's flogged privately. As it says in the chapter in the prophet, for you have stumbled today, and the prophet has stumbled with you in the night. Even though he has stumbled, cover up for him, conceal him as the night. Retain your honor and stay at home. Stay where you are. So, if you remember, we spoke about the kavod we need to give. In the past chapter, we gave the different honor we have to give to the Talmid Chacham. And there's certain situation where the sage has to be ostracized, right? And we said 24 cases in which he has to be ostracized. Chapter 7, we're talking about this person that really went against Torah. He represents Torah, but he went against Torah in a public way. So what do? We take him privately and we tell him, stay home. Stay home. Go home. V'chen kol talmid chachamim shinchayev nidui. And so too with any scholar who has become liable of being ostracized. Asur lebet din, it is prohibited for the bet din likpotz lenadoto bimera labohin midavar zev nishmati mimenu. The court may not spring forward and ostracize him quickly. Rather, what should he do? They should flee from this action and try to avoid it. V'chasidei chachamim, and the pious sages commented about themselves, היו משתבחים שלא נמנו מעולם לנדות תלמיד חכמים, that they never voted to ostracize a Torah scholar. אף על פי שנדנין להלקותו אם נתחייב מלכות, although they did vote to give him whips, ואפילו מכת מרדות נמנים עליו להכותו, and even regarding rabbinically ordained lashes, they would vote to whip him. Which means like this. We have a sage that is misbehaving, and he's doing things which are completely improper. So in that case, we don't do a public ordeal out of this. We take him in private, we explain him the situation, the severity of the situation. Obviously, we want him to do tshuva. If he needs to receive a punishment, he will receive the punishment, but he's going to receive it in private. So, ketzadu anidui. How do you ostracize a person? What is the procedure for this? Omrim ploni beshamta. They announce, so and so has been ostracized. There's a public announcement of this. Veim nidu befanav omrim ploni ze. And if it was in front of the person, it says this person, they point to him, you are ostracized, which means he has the statement in front of people that he's been ostracized, or in front of him, right? That is how he's ostracized and excommunicated. The excommunication, which is greater. Omrim ploni mochram ve'arur bo'ala bo'shvua bonidui. To excommunicate, they announce so and so is excommunicated. He is cursed, includes a curse, an oath, and ostracism. Gimel halacha gimel. Ketzad matirim anidu acherem. So how do you rescind? How do you free him of this being ostracized or being excommunicated? Omrim lo sharui lach umachu lach. We say to him, you are permitted, you are pardoned. And they could say, he is permitted, he is pardoned, without him being present. Dalet. What happens if a person is ostracized? So what makes him different than everybody else? Does he have something on his head that shows that he's ostracized? So he says, one who is ostracized may not have his haircut or clothing laundered like a mourner for as long as he's ostracized. Right? We want to put the person in a situation that is going to realize, what are you doing? Right? It's like he has COVID or something. Then you don't sit in his presence, you don't include him in the Birkat Hamazon, and you don't include him in the Minyan. He cannot be counted. Nevertheless, he may teach others, and they may teach him. He may be hired by others, and he can hire them. What happens if this person was ostracized and then he died in the middle, and he was never freed or permitted or pardoned from his from this? So what that happens? They sent from the Bedin, from the court, a stone to be placed on his coffin, for he is removed from the public. We don't accompany him to his death, and we don't eulogize him. Then we have another category, which is excommunication, which is even greater. In addition to the above, one who is excommunicated may not teach others, and others may not teach him, but he may study himself so that he does not forget his learning. See how important it is. Even a person that's in such a situation continues studying Torah. He may not hire, and he may not be employed, and he may not employ anyone. We don't do any business, we don't engage business with him. We don't do any trade, even a small trade, just enough for his livelihood. I'm going to give you an example just so you understand what's happening. Imagine a man that was married to a woman. Baruch Hashem, that's already a great thing today. So a man that's married to a woman, and he decides that he wants to divorce her. And he does not want to liberate her by giving her a get, by giving her a Jewish divorce. And now this woman is what we call an agudah. So the Beit Din sends him once, twice, 3 times. He doesn't even respond. He doesn't care. He just disregards everyone. Then in that situation, he has to be put in cherem. He has to going to be excommunicated. He's going to be ostracized and excommunicated, and he'll be in a situation where he won't be able to deal with anybody in the community. So today we're in a different situation, But at the time, you can imagine that in a small village, in a small city, right, how that impact has such a great, great impact on a person, because all of his livelihood, so that was cut, everything, all of his friends. Remember how we felt during COVID. So he has his own COVID party. At that moment, he's not allowed to go to shul, he's not allowed to count in the minyan. So a person says, you know what, okay, I don't want to live this life anymore. I'm going to I'm going to do the right thing, because I really can't I can't live like this, And that's the purpose. The purpose is to put pressure on that person, so he should change. Let's continue. Somebody that was ostracized for 30 days. And he didn't ask to be released. What's wrong with you? Then we ostracize him a second time. He sat for another 30 days and did not request to be released. Then you excommunicate him. What does it mean that you're sitting like this by yourself, disconnected from the community because of your ego. You don't want to change. You don't want to have to do anything. We're going to excommunicate you. How many people are required in order to release him from being ostracized or excommunicated? Bishlosha, afilu yotot, even 3 simple people, ordinary people. V'yahid mumhe, and a single expert. So even ordinary people, you need 3 people, 2 of them ordinary people, one of them an expert. Matir anidu v'yahid mumche, I'm sorry. 3 edotot, I'm sorry. 3 people which are ordinary people. Or 1 person which is an expert, right? Then he is able to release him from his being ostracized. And a student may release from ostracism or excommunication even in his teacher's presence. Local. אינו מופיע באף מהדורת רמב"ם. So, halacha chet does not appear in any edition of the Rambam, but there is an indication that there is a halacha chet, halacha number 8, that we don't know about. Halacha 9. tet, שלושה שנידו והלכו להם וחזר זה מדבר שנידו בגללו באים משלושה אחרים ומתירים לו. If 3 declared a ban of ostracism and went their way, then another, and the person did teshuvah, he returned, then you can have another 3 people release him. Mishelo yada, mi nidahu yelech etzel hanatzi v'yatir lo niyuv. What happens if a person doesn't know who ostracized him? Then he goes to the head of the Jewish people, which is like the whole Jewish people, and he will release him. Nidu yatnai afilu mipi atzmo tzarich hafara, a conditional ostracism, even self-declared, requires nullification, which means says a person God forbid says, that he is in ostracized, which means he ostracizes himself. He has to go and free himself. And the Torah is called Tamid Chachamim Shenida Atzmo v'afilu Nida Atzmo al Dat Ploni v'afilu al Davar shechayav al Nidui Arezeh Mefer le'atzmo. But a sage of Torah scholar who self-ostracized, or even self-ostracized relying on the judgment of another, even for a matter which is liable of ostracism, may release himself because he put himself in the situation. What happens if a person dreamt that he was ostracized? Even if he knows who in his dream ostracized him, he has to have 10 people which are going to release him from this ostracism. And if he doesn't find, he should trouble himself to walk at least 8,000 cubits, right? A parsa. He didn't find such people, right? These 10 people which study halacha, then even 10 people who study Mishnah can free him. If he doesn't find 10 people which know Mishnah, then even those who read the Torah, they're able to free him. It's not possible, then 10 Jews that don't even know how to read can actually free him. If he doesn't find 10 people, then even 3 people can free him from this ostracism. Halacha Yud Gimel, and this was going to be the last halacha for today as we complete the laws of Talmud Torah. One was declared ostracized in his own presence, may only be released in his presence. If he was ostracized without him being present, then you can free him whether he's present or not. There's no need to be a specific period of time between the moment that he was ostracized and the moment he was freed from his ostracism. He can, if even at the same moment that he says, I regret, okay, you're free. Which means basically, I think it's all about ego. You know, sometimes a person is going to have ego, is going to have a moment of folly. The Gemara says in Masechet Sota page 2, it says, "En adam over avera elam ken yichnas bo ruach shtut." A person only sins if he has a moment of folly. Well, we've been having a lot of those recently. Well, anyways, what's that moment of folly? The moment of folly that you for a certain second, you're not really yourself. So it's possible that, you know, it's one thing not to be yourself. It's another thing to continue not being yourself willingly. So once you regret, you're freed. Rather, if the court sees that this person should be punished and he should be ostracized for many years, then the Bedin will decide that, and so too. ושותה עמו משיעה עמוד עמו ב400 מחרימים כדי להסחו, כדי לעשות סייג לתורה עד שלא יפרצו החטאים. So if the court finds it fit to excommunicate him, those who sit with him, in order to make him suffer, so he's going to, you know, break and finally do what he needs to do, then in order to safeguard the Torah, then they could do it. And I want to tell you, I have a case right now of a man that's for years and years and years did not give a get to his wife. He wanted to come to his nephew's bar mitzvah in the synagogue. And I told him, if you're going to have if you want to give a get to your wife, a young woman, right? She's been like this for 8 years now. I don't know how many years already. I told him, I'm sorry, you can't come to my shul. You can't go to any synagogue. You're not accepted. Doesn't care. He wants to be right. Okay? You want to be right? Be right. While a sage may declare that somebody is ostracized because of his own honor, it's not proper, it's not a praise for a sage to behave in such a way. Rather, he should avert his ears from the word of the simple folk. Imagine if every rabbi had to take to heart everything that's said to them. I mean, come on, they would either die of a heart attack, God forbid, or they would be upset all the time. You know, you can't live a life like that. You can't pay attention to the foolishness of some people. Impossible. Yeah. ולא ישיב דיבו עליהם כעניין שנאמר שלמה וחוכמתו גם לכל הדברים אשר ידברו אל תיתן לי באחד. Like King Solomon, she says that you should not pay attention to all they speak, don't give heart. וכן היה דרך החסידים הראשונים. And this is, and always the Rambam, you'll notice, I'm going to give you a general rule, the Rambam, at the end of the halachot, when we finish a subject, he's going to give you some type of musar, he's going to give you some type of tips on how to make your behavior better, how to change a little the way you think. So look at these beautiful words of the Rambam. This was the way of the early pious ones. They would hear themselves being shamed, but would not respond. They would even pardon the one who shamed them and forgive them. And the great sages would commend themselves for their pleasant actions. And they would say that they never ostracized or excommunicated anybody for their own honor. And this is the proper path that sages of Torah, representing the Torah, have to go and walk in. Follow. When are we talking about? When they were degraded or shamed privately. But a Torah scholar who was degraded or shamed publicly is prohibited from foregoing his honor. Ve'imahal, and if he did forgo his honor, ne'enash, he is punished. Sheze bizion Torah, because this person which dared to speak against so and so and despise publicly and shame publicly this rabbi which represents the Torah is actually bringing shame upon the Torah. So you forgiving him is giving him an open door to shame the Torah again. Rather, you should be vengeful and bear the grudge extensively like a snake until the offender begs his pardon, and then he will forgive him. Blessed be Hashem, who assisted us. Mazal Tov. We finished after the laws of the foundation of Torah, after the laws of Deot, which are of character. We now finish the third halachot in the 83 halachot. So thank God, we're now down to 80, guys. We're doing good. So just a little story. The Torah says that our sages teach us, Tole olam ad belima. You have to, the world stands on those who are able to be quiet at the moment of a fight. Sometimes a person is going to be insulted. I can tell you as a rabbi, I've been there, received this, and it's very, very difficult. But there's a beautiful saying from Rav Levi Yitzchak of Berdichov, or I think it was the Noam Elimelech, which actually of Lizhansk, which today is his yahrzeit. He said like this, he says, look at what Hashem did. Hashem, instead of rebuking me in my face, he made me the rabbi of a city. And like this, when people come and tell me their problems, I realize that it's really Hashem telling me, no, change, become better. And that's why there are three people which are forgiven for all their sins. One of them is a person who was sick and got better. Another one is a person who got married. And a third one is somebody that received a public position. When you receive a public position, you're going to be forgiven because you don't have to go to hell. You will live it in this world. So God bless you all. I want to wish you all Mazal Tov. Tomorrow, Bezat Hashem, we're going to continue, and I'll accept your questions in a second. We're going to continue with the laws of idol worship.